I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will be compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Property Doctor. On this show, I talk about buildings, property acquisitions, building maintenance, building management, for you to get the best, for you to save time, money, and make sure you have a peace of mind. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, just like you're doing right now on Property Doctor NG, and on Twitter at Property Doc NG. You can call us on 0903 123 9999. For all of you who send messages to us, those of you who call, we thank you for being there. We thank you for spending your time to watch the video. We hope you learned something from this show. We appreciate all of you. Today, we'll be discussing something that is quite different from the usual. We're discussing something different, or something I feel we should consider when buying property and the future. Recall we talked about the important things to know when buying properties, and we even had a special person in the house who told us on things we need to know before buying a property. This will help us reflect and critically think before taking some decisions in the acquisition of property and even land. Should we build mansion in places we hardly visit, or places we hardly spend our time in, like in our country homes, our villages, or even areas we do not always go to? But first, let's look at mansions. Mansions in our hometowns or villages, or where we do not reside generally, can be very expensive to maintain. In Nigeria, when we say village, most people see village as a very small town, usually in a rural or isolated area. We talk about our hometown to say where we come from, where we were born or raised, or where our family still lives. Even when we move away, we still think of that place as our hometown, or we still look at that place as home. So what is a mansion, or what do we mean by a mansion? When we say mansion, we mean a very big house with many rooms, many living rooms, different kinds of rooms in the building, and so on. I like beautiful buildings. You see, a lot of care and passion has been put together to get a beautiful building standing. In my father's house, there are many mansions. From the dictionary, a mansion is a large, impressive dwelling place. Another interpretation says a house that contains a lot of flats. So when you put all these definitions together, we can be on the same page and know what we are looking at when we refer to big houses or when we say mansions. And now we are talking about mansions or buildings where we do not reside. Whether it is here in Nigeria or outside, anywhere you're not staying, having a mansion in that particular area is what we want to talk about today. So let's look at the advantages of owning a large house or a mansion. You know what, like I mentioned earlier, you can have many rooms. You can have a swimming pool, you can have a gym, you can have different things, games room, and so on, even in the house. And you can entertain a lot of guests. But you know, whatever has an advantage, possibly will also have a disadvantage. Let me talk about a few. The cost of getting the land to build a big house on is quite high, and the cost of construction. And during the time of construction, you may face some problems if you want to build a big house. If you don't have the right people there to do the job for you, you may face some problems. Now, even after building a house, the maintenance cost is also expensive and is high. Furnishing those buildings too is another disadvantage, because you need to spend a lot of money to furnish the place. And you may have unwanted guests in the house. Now, the cost of power, the cost of cooling, the cost of heating, and so on is quite high when you're talking about a big house. I'm actually talking about the cost here because here we talk about the effective use of money when it comes to building and construction. Now, let's narrow down to the location of these large houses or mansions that we are talking about. Let's look at the houses in our villages or in our hometowns or places where we do not actually reside or visit often. What do you think? Do you think it is wise to build mansions there? You know, the Bible says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. So if you are still watching, thank you for being there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please click on the bell so that you can get a notification whenever a new episode comes up. Should we build mansions in our villages, our hometowns, or places we hardly visit? The questions that I would like you to look into or think about before building a big house or a mansion in these kind of areas are some of these questions I'll be posting before you right now. How many times do you go to your villages? What is your answer? Look at that. That is a question you should think about. You know, I told you that we'll be talking about, we'll critically look at some of these points so that you can take a decision when you want to build a mansion in a place that you hardly visit. Some visit the village or the hometown or some area just during Christmas or maybe when there is a wedding or a burial or maybe chieftaincy title is going on or New Yam festival. That's the only time they go home. Or some have other reasons that may take them to travel to these areas because we are talking about having these mansions where you do not reside. Now, why build a mansion? Why do you build a mansion? Is it that you want to show off to your age mates or you want to show off to your friends that you have arrived? Do you need to do that? Someone once told me it is for missionaries to get a place to stay in his house when his family is not even staying in that particular place. Another question I'll be bringing up is about the maintenance of this building. What is the cost of maintenance of this building when you are not practically around? How can you furnish these buildings? Who are you building the house for? Is it for your parents, your aged parents? Is it for your children to come and inherit tomorrow? Is it for yourself, like I mentioned earlier, to show off? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, you know we will leave this world one day. Who are you planning to inherit your property? So many times you have people who have properties, but when they pass on, managing the property becomes a problem. Sometimes we build and our children are not even interested in your taste or your property or the location of your property. What will you do with that big house or the mansion that you have built in that area? You may build a big house in a particular area and all your kids will decide to stay somewhere else. What will you do with the property? Can you rent out that property or part of that mansion that you have built? Or will the mansion become a problem to you even while you are still alive? Will your children be ready to manage or maintain the mansion or the building that you have put up? Who will take over the mansion when you are gone? Because one day we will all answer that call. Who are you thinking in your mind will take over that particular property? If there's a problem, can you sell that property easily? Can it be used for collateral in case you need support from a bank or a financial institution? Can you use that property as a collateral? Is it going to get the same value for you, or is it going to get the same, value in terms of mortgage, or if you want to sell, or whatever you need that property for at that particular time, or as a collateral? Is that property going to be worth the while? Now, will your children be ready to stay together and not fight for that property when you are gone? These questions are what I believe you should have in mind when acquiring a property generally, especially when building a mansion in our hometown or places we hardly visit. I hope you learned something today. Please leave a comment below. Don't forget to click on the like button if you enjoyed this episode. And please subscribe to our channel, and click on the alert button so that you get a notification whenever a new episode comes up. See you same time next week. Until then, have a blessed week ahead. God bless you. Bye.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs.